If 5 out of 6 people who went to a local hospital died as a result of something the hospital did or from conditions within the hospital, would you go? Would you let your loved ones go? I know I sure wouldn't. This is precisely the setting that Florence Nightingale found herself in, a hospital that was killing people at that rate. Who is Florence Nightingale? Well, Florence Nightingale is regarded as the mother of modern nursing. Before her, nursing was a chore performed by slaves and by prostitutes, a real menial task that was even looked down upon. After her, it became the noble profession that we recognize today, one that we see a great deal of care given to the sick and the injured, and also requires a great deal of training. She also instituted standards of cleanness with food, clothing, fresh air, and fresh water that was really years ahead of their time, even before germ theory was really fully understood. Now, I'm interested in Florence Nightingale because I'm a nursing student here at CBTC and have done a great deal of research about her. Florence Nightingale did a lot of work during the Crimean War, and that's the setting that we're going to discuss today. It was a war between the English and the Russians, and it was fought in Turkey. What was happening is the soldiers who were fighting in the war would go back to the field hospitals when they were injured, and it was there that they were dying at a rate of 5 out of 6. The reasons being infections and cholera. Cholera is a waterborne disease that causes raging diarrhea and can quickly dehydrate and kill when infected with that disease. News of these conditions got back to London. It was widely publicized in the papers. The government had to take action. So they put Florence Nightingale in charge of a crew of her and 38 other nurses to go and try and help alleviate, at the very least, this problem. They got organized. They went by sea, and Florence Nightingale reported that even before she reached land, she could smell the hospital. What did they find when they actually got to the facility? They found that there was injured men with rotting flesh from infections. There were bones that were broken that were not set. They found men laying in filthy straw on dirt floors, and clothes that hadn't been changed in weeks. Men were lying in their own filth as a result of the cholera. All of this was being ignored. Well, Florence Nightingale and her nurses got to work right away. They cleaned it all up. They found beds for the men, clean linens, clean food, gave them fresh air. And Florence Nightingale determined that the water must be playing a role in the ongoing disease of these injured ones. So she had the pipes dug up at the facility, and what was discovered was a dead horse laying in the inlet to the facility, so that all the water they were using was washing over this diseased carcass. And of course, that was remediated right away. But because of Florence Nightingale's efforts, in 1 year, the death rate had dropped 2/3. And after the war, Florence Nightingale returned home a hero, and rightly so. And certainly we appreciate Florence Nightingale and her hard work, as she established nursing as a modern profession that it is today. And she established sanitary conditions and expectancies that were far ahead of her time. Now, we may have all heard of the Hippocratic Oath that requires doctors to do no harm, but she expanded on this to include the setting itself. She said the very first requirement in a hospital is that it should do no harm. Certainly, we appreciate a clean facility. And because of her pioneering standards of care and standards of sanitary conditions, she has saved thousands of lives right down to our day.